I'm always excited when our friend Lisa Ison is here. She is a small business incubation specialist, and we're going to talk a little bit about small businesses. You start a small business, but what happens when maybe you need to kind of get out, quote unquote, right?
Right.
Is that a good way to put it?
That's a good way,
Because it's not only about the starting of a business, but also about the ending, if it comes to that.
Right.
How to bow out gracefully, right?
Yeah, and we talked about business plans before.
Sure.
And we mentioned building an exit strategy, but we want to expand a little bit more on that.
Right.
Because some businesses are intentionally set to be short term. You know, let's think if you want to grow pumpkins, that's a seasonal business.
Right.
You have a beginning and a clear ending to it. So that's sort of easy to understand.
Okay.
But a lot of times you're trying to build a long-term business, whether it's a legacy for your children to pass on, you're trying to build for retirement, or you've gone into retirement and looking for something to do. So,
I see.
You know, what do you want the business to do? You need to think about that at the beginning.
At the beginning.
Right.
Because like I said, we were just talking a second ago, the folks who can do this, sometimes they'll go in and they just buy a company, they're bored or tired, move on to the next thing, either sell it or keep it, and they move on to and they just move, and that's all they do is start these businesses. So let's get to the graphics here, because you've kind of got four things here, and the first one is short term. I mean, we're talking about why are you starting the business and how long do you plan to continue with it? And so this is one of the answers. Short term, a sure thing with fast growth?
Right. If you remember back in the .com era, the people that started businesses that were like 12-month businesses, they cashed out, they started another one. Okay, so that's sort of the short term. That was their goal, to be a short term.
Get in and get out.
Get in and get out, cash out, sell it to somebody else, because serial entrepreneurs get bored real easily. So 2 years is probably the max. They want to keep a business and start something else, and they'll just keep rolling them.
Okay.
And it's fine if they fail along the way. You know,
they don't
pick
care.
up and go again. But that's usually not the norm.
Okay.
You know.
And then there's the long term. So the folks who kind of are in it for the long term to grow and sustain.
Right. They have maybe a slower growth pattern. They want a comfortable lifestyle. They're looking to retire, or
franchise
if they have a really good business idea and franchise those out, or looking for something to leave to their children. A legacy business.
Okay, okay. So that's, again, kind of a long term. Now, so I thought this really kind of defined it. There's the serial, S-E-R-I-A-L, entrepreneur, and then there's the one-time entrepreneur. So is that kind of the definition?
Sort of. That's the way I would separate it. And then you get down to the bottom line of what happens. Let's say that you have to end your business. That we started talking about this. If you have to end it gracefully, how do you do that?
How do you do it? Okay.
And at what point? And you need to think about that when you're starting the business. How long can you bleed?
Okay.
Or
okay.
is it a money pit type thing?
Well, that's the next graphics. Things to think about to help you decide if it's time to get out. So the first one being, is it a money pit?
Right. How much money of your own do you have to put in it? And it's easier to do this at the beginning than at the end when it gets real emotional. You know,
good point.
You know, another $1,000 won't hurt me, another $10,000 won't hurt me, and all of a sudden you're $200,000 or $300,000, you've lost
You're in the
everything.
hole.
So it's easier to think about it from the beginning, to say, when I get to this point, that's it.
So plan ahead.
Right.
Okay. So then that plays into bank financing. How
or
are they going to let you?
Yeah, are they going to let you? Because they're going to be watching your bottom line. And if you go in for your meeting and your reports keep going
not so well,
right? How long are they going to let you go till they call the loan or whatever?
Okay.
So you've got to think about all that at the beginning.
Okay.
Instead, again, at the end when you're forced to think about it.
And then I like this point. There's nothing wrong with a failing business. Just give it time to bow out gracefully,
right?
And as opposed to bankruptcy,
right? And you see some signs in windows that say closing soon, having a close out, going out of business, sale, or that sort of thing. And that's sort of a way to bow out gracefully. You know, you can't do it, or it may not be because your business failed. You may not have anybody to pass it on to. You're ready to retire. And so, you know, you plan that from the beginning if you can.
Is there a stigma, though? I mean, I do tend, and I need to change my mindset, but when I do see those going out of business signs, I tend to think, oh, those poor things, they didn't make it.
Yeah,
you know?
well, it also, you see these people have been going out of business for years, and I think it's just the way that they use that to get people to come
Their way
in.
to get out.
But, you know, if a lot of maybe family businesses or people that are local that you know that are closing, they want to have a last time to say goodbye to their customers.
Well, that's a good point.
And, you know, to get rid of few last things or whatever, and just not put a sign on the door, we closed last
well,
night.
so again, it's not necessarily a bad thing when you see those going out of business signs. Okay, and the last one, business valuation, have one completed?
Yes, anytime that you're starting a business and it's going well, or you're trying to think about selling in the long term, go to someone who specializes in that and see how much your business is worth, so that if it does come time to sell or cash out, that you'll know what you're dealing with, and you might want to keep it a little longer.
Okay.
It might not be worth as much.
So bottom line here is, if you're going to start a business, always have an exit strategy,
Yes.
so it's not this emotional craziness thing going on.
Do it as part of your business plan, and think about it and have it written down, and then go from there.
This is why I love having you here, because you're so good at this kind of thing, and then you're going to come back and talk about some other things, succession, contingency planning,
Yes,
that kind of
what
thing.
happens if something happens to you.
Got it. Okay,
Right.
well, let's give you the information in case someone does have a question. They want to get in touch with you, 540-525-5190, and there is the email as well, and feel free to get in touch with her. She knows what she's talking about. Thank you, Lisa, for coming. Short break, and we'll be right back.